Joining me tonight, Alan Grayson, former congressman from Florida and also running for Congress again. Alan, great to have you with us tonight. What do you make of this exchange? Is there more on Newt Gingrich that could deep six his candidacy? Because that's the impression the Democratic leader is leaving.
Well, I don't know, but I do know that a lot of things that Newt has said and done over the years are not familiar to people yet. I'll give you one example of that. Here in Florida, more than 10% of the Republican vote will be Hispanic. And I don't think many Hispanics in Florida have any idea that Newt Gingrich said that English should be our official language and that we should take Spanish out of the courthouses, out of the police stations, out of the schools, and out of the Department of Motor Vehicles, and that Spanish is a ghetto language. How many people know that? Very few. It's the same thing with so many things that Newt Gingrich has said and done over the years. His record really hasn't come out yet. He's getting a free ride because Romney is constantly on the defensive.
Well, Romney trying to go on the offensive. He got his 2 cents in on this issue. We told Fox News if Nancy Pelosi knows those things right now, she will hand them to Barack Obama's campaign if Speaker Gingrich were our nominee. How is this back and forth being played out with Floridians? Are they paying attention to this Romney-Newt back and forth, and with now Nancy Pelosi in the mix?
I think so. About half of the vote in Florida is in the Tampa and Orlando area among the Republicans, and that's a sort of a free-floating vote. These are people who, by and large, have come from elsewhere in the country. They don't have strong political or geographic affiliations, so they could go in any direction, and I think that what's going to happen most likely is that in the end they'll decide they're a little more comfortable with Romney than with Gingrich. I mean, a lot of them are born again, but they weren't born yesterday.
Gingrich was pandering to the folks on the Space Coast today. Let's take a look.
By the end of my second term, we will have the first permanent base on the moon, and it will be American.
And he forgot to say that there would be any taxation up there, I'm sure. But anyway, how's that going to work? How is that kind of talk playing?
Well, I think there's a sort of a race between his egomania and his racism. And I think he's running the most overtly racist campaign that I've seen in this country since George Wallace, if you're talking about presidential campaigns. So I think that what he tries to do is to do these dog whistle things to people who he thinks he can connect with to make up for his shortcomings, frankly, as a human being. And I just can't believe that people have so much disrespect for the seventh commandment that they would give him any serious consideration at all.
What did you think of the president's speech last night, Congressman?
I think there were a lot of good things in it. I think that if there was only one thing that was missing, and I don't want to try to detract from him because it was a great, great speech, I think he needs to be more specific about his plans to put Americans back to work. Okay, and I'm sure he will do that as time goes on. But it's great to have you with us, Alan Grayson. Always, all the best.